Captain Logan, and it's time for Captain Logan's show. Sorry, things started kind of stalling out on me, but it looks like we're good here. No, there's no technical difficulties here on Geekvolution. That would never happen. Welcome back to the show. We're going to answer questions for a whole hour, but first, I'd like to introduce my wonderful chat moderator and producer, DJ Martinez.
Me?
Yeah.
I forgot what we've done. We took a week off, and I've lost the entire plot.
It's a chat moderator, like me. And
They're
also
all chat moderators.
And also suddenly 14 years old. It's my son Jason.
Oh my goodness.
It's me.
Yeah, Jason just had a birthday this weekend. We had a bunch of people over. We had a really great party for him. And that's not why he's here. We just thought it'd be fun to hang out on the show together again.
Yeah.
Welcome back, Jason. Welcome back to the program. We haven't been here for 2 weeks. We have no idea how to do the show anymore. What is this intro?
It's not like riding a bike. Don't let anyone tell you differently.
No, it's really not. If you take enough time off, you've got to put the training wheels back on the bike. That's exactly right. No lead-in topic tonight, folks. I wanted to just kind of go wall-to-wall questions. Well, I say that. We've got a surprise for you a little bit later in the show. I was joking earlier. The real reason Jason is here is he and I are going to do something fun for you a little bit later. But feel free to throw in any questions you want to about anything going on in in the geek sphere, in pop culture, whatever. I may or may not know about it, but we'll talk about whatever you guys want to talk about, news or just fun, interesting topics. As always, we've got some Patreon stuff that we'll tackle tonight. Quick plug for that. If you ever want to leave questions ahead of time, patreon.com/geekvolution is the place to do that. Just the $2 tier allows you to put in a question, at least one each month. If we go through them all, we'll put out another prompt, and I'll take even more questions than that. That's the way to get things to us if you can't be here on the show, or you just want to make absolutely certain that we talk about your thing. Another way to make certain that we talk about your thing is to put in a super chat in any dollar amount, and we'll guarantee that we discuss your topic that way as well. After the show tonight, speaking of Patreon, we're going to do Geekvolution After Dark, not with Jason, because, you know, there's like adult subject matter and swearing on that show sometimes.
But he's 14 now.
Did you hear that? He actually just qualified for After Dark because he nearly swore on the program.
Well, After Dark is TV 14. Everybody knows that.
Yeah, that was actually you didn't realize you were in an audition, but that's the audition, and you managed it.
Barely say.
You have to nearly swear on camera.
Nearly swear, nearly.
Yep. And then you're there. Anyway, no, Brandon and Austin and I will do an After Dark for you if you're so inclined to pop in, either live or after the fact. You'll get access to that if you're on Patreon. Again, $2 tier. And other news real quick. Tomorrow night, we're going to be doing a superhero rewind commentary on whatever this is. We're going to be doing Jumper from 2008. I could give you my review in like 3 or 4 words right now, but I'm not going to. I did watch that today for the first time, and we'll see what an hour and a half sitting through that's going to be like. I might be showing my hand just slightly. No, I'm not showing my hand. I'm wearing fingerless gloves.
Dad, you should make...
Showing your finger.
You should do a special edition of After Dark that's After Dark PG-13, where you can only say one F-bomb just somewhere in it. You know?
Yeah, and not each person. Only one can be said.
Only one, yeah.
Yeah, whoever it
you
is.
You can all say it at the same time.
That ends up doing that, yeah. Hey, Jason, it occurs to me that you and I have a movie that we've got to review that somebody asked for that got a super chat goal that we were putting off because we had really busy weekends, but promise to get to that in a couple weeks. So let's make sure that we knock that out. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and just start taking questions now. No super chat goal or anything like that tonight. DJ, do you have any amusing preamble that you want to throw out before we just jump right into it?
No, I live only to serve the questions in the chat. That's my sole purpose. So that's all I can think about.
That's your sole purpose. Wow,
burning a hole right in me.
Wow, that's kind of. I feel like you need to set your sights a little higher, DJ.
No, I am a person of the people.
No, that's why he's got his own channel. So you can come over here and be like, I'm just here to answer questions. And then when he goes to on his channel, he has to do all the work. He doesn't
It's
even
true.
have he doesn't even have a chat moderator. He does all the work.
Oh god, I just have to talk for 2 hours straight. It's exhausting.
It is exhausting. I'm well aware of how exhausting that. Why do you think I brought you in? Why do you think I don't do the rewind commentaries by myself? I did one like that, and it was 89, the easiest possible movie for me to do a commentary over like that.
Yeah, because I've been doing those weekly live streams every Monday. I throw my voice out every single Monday. I have no voice the next morning.
Yeah, when you're doing all the talking, and I don't know if you're like this, but I just don't like dead air. I've programmed myself over all these years to not let more than 5-10 seconds go by. Like 10 is like an eternity, man. Like I've got to get something in there. So yeah, you throw your voice out.
Yeah, and I have the habit of just talking way too fast when
Yes.
I'm the only one there. So if I would just slow down a little bit, I could say less, but I can't. I just like
Well, and then you can pad it out
speed
more.
read. Yeah.
No, I'm terrible about that too. That's the brilliant like disc jockey sweet spot thing. I don't understand how DJs do this, and clearly DJ is not a DJ. I don't know how DJs do this, DJ. You have to simultaneously fit in everything that you want to say in between ad breaks when you're on the radio. So you have to be concise, you have to be swift about it, but also you have to speak slowly and deliberately all at the same time. I don't know how they do it. How do you do both of those things?
Well, you should start making Geekvolution ads, and then get some good practice.
Then I can practice that. You know, I think about doing that all the time. I think about making just like really ridiculous commercials for things that we've got coming up on the channel or for Patreon or that kind of thing, where we never take sponsorships. We're always just sponsoring ourselves. We make
Sponsored by Geekvolution.
Yeah, we make people sit through like terrible ads for just the shows we're making.
Oh, they don't have to sit through them. They can skip, double tap the side of the
Not
screen.
if they're watching them live.
Geekvolution
That's
Plus.
true.
Geekvolution Plus, yes, absolutely. That's a great idea. Hey, real quick, I know we were gonna jump into questions, but I didn't mean to mention this. We officially started shooting the Superhero Rewind movie like 3 weeks ago, and we did with kind of again, I don't want to give too much away, but we did a night that wasn't a full shoot. We were just doing some like voiceover and headshot things and stuff like that. But this last week, so this was just Tuesday, so just 2 days ago, we did our first full-blown shoot where we did a whole scene down here in the bunker, and I was certainly excited about this project, but I was kind of nervous about it just because it's ambitious and you don't really know. It's easy to get butterflies when you jump into a thing like this, and you've got a script and you know what the story is, but you don't fully know how. Especially when you're me and I'm playing, I'm on screen so much, like you don't exactly know how you're gonna play it, and you don't really know what the tone of it is gonna be like exactly. And I'm a lot more confident about it now after doing that first shoot. And DJ, I'm stoked. It's all I want to do. It's all I want to work on now. Like, I wish everybody involved in the project had the time to just take off work for a month and a half and just shoot it. Just get it done.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I'm glad you're getting excited about it. That will make it a lot easier.
And DJ's working on a thing for the movie just today.
Just minutes ago.
Again,
minutes ago I was doing it.
we can't talk about anything yet, but
shot,
yeah,
sure.
DJ is doing some stuff for it, and he's gonna be working on a movie logo for us. Hopefully, not too far from now. And
shall see.
once that happens, we'll do some kind of a reveal, and we'll start throwing that logo everywhere so that we can pretend like we've got this big exciting movie happening that more than 45 people will care about.
Hey, it'll get a lot more views than 45.
That's true. It'll get 55 views. DJ, I apologize, everybody. Let's go ahead. I'm trying to get into a groove for the show. Let's go ahead and get some questions. Go ahead, sir.
All right. T-Edge1 kicking things off with a string of super chats here.
Oh my
$5
goodness.
for
A
the
litany
first one.
even.
He says, let's ignore for a minute that the MCU has incorrectly used multiverse and alternate timeline interchangeably, which is stupid.
Yeah, that's kind of true.
And then his second super chat continues for $10. The two reasons that they couldn't go back and kill baby
I thought that was
Thanos-
the end of that. Let's pretend that. Okay, sure.
Let's pretend it.
Let's pretend that.
Easy. Done. And then the two reasons that they couldn't go back and kill baby Thanos is, one, does anyone on the team know where and when he was as a baby? And two, if they kill him, something else just as bad would have taken his place. Do you agree?
Do I agree that something just as bad would have taken his place? Not necessarily. Like movie Thanos, and honestly, even comic book Thanos. I mean, that's a real. That's a character with real specific goals and ambitions, and like those motivations are a little bit different, maybe more than a little bit different between comics and movies. But that's for whatever reason a very like power mad. He's the Mad Titan. Villain that wants to become a god and take over everything, and not just because he's not there doesn't mean that somebody else at that same time will pop up and do that. Like, yes, you've always got insane power hungry individuals, but I don't think the MCU has really introduced the idea that the universe is always moving towards some sort of historical entropy. So if you change one thing, something else will maneuver in to make it essentially the way it was in the first place. They're doing more of an like you said, Tom, alternate timeline thing where if you change something, it branches off to a different timeline. So there's not as much of a fate question with MCU with that. So I don't think we could make that assumption necessarily.
Imagine if like Mojo or someone got the Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah, Mojo shows up at the end of a movie. He goes, "I'll do it myself." I don't know why he also sounds like the villain from Howard the Duck.
It's all one universe, man.
Well, it is. But then I also but I agree with the other point he made. I think that's pretty astute that nobody would necessarily even know where exactly he is further in the past. Like, forget as a baby, just at any point could you be sure of where exactly Thanos is going to be. Like, with the big help you'd have is Gamora. Like, if you could get Gamora to help you pinpoint a place in the timeline where she thinks he's vulnerable, you could maybe, because he's not all powerful as like magically as an adult, right? Like, that's a pretty powerful character. He doesn't have the gauntlet yet. He doesn't even he's not even carrying stones with him, if memory serves, until Infinity Gauntlet. He's giving them to other people for not enough of a good reason to me. Like, why does Ronan have one? Why does Loki have one? Why doesn't he just hang on to the ones he has and use them for his own power? So, I don't... I think maybe Gamora could help you go back to the past and kill him before he starts gathering stones. But the whole... because if people are making, I haven't heard that a lot, if people are making the argument like, well, just go back and kill him as a baby, why do we always go to baby? Like, you could be a toddler and effectively it's the same thing. Like, you just need to be relatively vulnerable, go get Thanos when he's like taking college coursework and he's in a lecture hall of like 150 other people and he's taking a blue book test. Kill him then.
Yeah, that'd be easier than killing a baby. That would be really difficult. For me personally, I don't know, maybe you could do it, Cap.
No, I don't think I could either. And we've done those stories with a lot of genre stuff where you go back in time and you kind of stop when you go, oh, but it's a baby and it's cute and it's that Minority Report thing where it's like, well, is it fair? He hasn't actually done it yet. Like, yes, we know he's going to, but there's always that question of, I mean, A, there's just the morality of, oh my God, killing children. Like even though you know what's going to happen later, but B, well, it hasn't happened yet. Could I maybe make the change here that would make it to where that wouldn't happen? But again, MCU, it's got the branching timeline thing. So as not consistent as I think they are in Infinity War, or I'm sorry, Endgame is where the time travel stuff happens. At least they come out and tell you that's what happens if you branch timelines off, even if I don't fully understand what exactly is going on with Steve Rogers at the end of Endgame. Like, how he's even in their timeline, just hanging out in that universe if the timelines branch off. I've never really gotten that, DJ. But if...
Yeah, that's the one thing where they just
They're just not thinking at that point. But if that's how your time travel works, then at least they're solid enough in it that you'd be able to say, if I go back in time and kill Thanos, it doesn't really make a difference because I'm just branching off to another timeline where that doesn't happen. So I guess I saved a new set of all the characters in that universe, but then the other set all dies, so who cares? Anyway, I like talking about this kind of stuff. Let's move on.
And then he put in a $2 super chat before the show started saying, great show tonight, guys. So our quality doesn't mean anything because he thinks it's a great show no matter what we do.
And, every time he or somebody else says that, because Tom said that before, he's like, great show. It's like, we haven't even made it yet. And that time we hadn't even started making it yet. Immediately I get self-conscious. There's a part of my brain, I don't know if it's nerves or if it's if it's a mischievous thing, DJ. But there's some part in my brain, whatever the motivation is, subconsciously, that says, yeah, we gotta F the show up now. Now we have to ruin it, so it's not a great show. What do you think, Jason?
Wow.
Is this a great show?
You don't like being told what you can't do.
Don't tell me what I can't do. Did you not get that right away?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was just really surprised you didn't react to that. He made a Lost reference. We're the only people here that would care, and you didn't react.
You're the only people anywhere that would care.
Yeah, anyway, why did I say here? On the planet Earth.
Planet. Oh, Lost.
Can everyone hear me?
DJ, when Jason and I reviewed that show, because we did that season by season years ago now, I really wish that the title of our review series had been, Oh, Lost.
Oh, Lost.
So
good.
Lost.
All right, moving right along.
Utale, 35 South African Rand. Snyder just said, you may love or hate my movies.
We're back to this, are we?
I'm 100% fine with that. But a vote against me is a vote for the focus groups. Thoughts?
I don't know. With all due respect, my eyes are starting to glaze over every time we have to we have to go in and analyze or deconstruct Snyder being Snyder. Like, he is clearly upset that he's getting a lot of flack for the stuff he's been making lately, and obviously going all the way back to his DCEU stuff, and he just is really defensive. And it's starting to read as childish as the material he's making. Like, in Snyder's defense, like, at least he's not going on tour, or at least I don't think he is. I don't think he's getting in flame wars with people. I think he's just, I think his feelings are hurt. So I mean, like, he's not being unprofessional in the sense that he's like coming out against anybody individually. I don't think. I mean, I haven't really been looking at it. I just keep hearing these kind of broad quotes with tweets and things, where he's like, woe is me. It's not my fault that people don't like the really trite, terrible things I'm making. I don't know. He's got the most stilted dialogue of anybody I've ever seen besides Zack Snyder, and the stuff he's been making lately is so cheap. Of course, people aren't liking it, and he's just got no sense of perspective. He's too close to his own work. He can't see it, and it's become really clear, and I've said this a million times, but it's become really clear after he's been thrown money by Netflix, and Netflix is still throwing money at him, by the way. I heard somebody a week ago say, after this Star Wars knockoff thing, surely, and we are, by the way, going to review that second part. Mm-hmm. We're going to try to watch that sometime in the next couple weeks and get back to that and review it. The hell was that called?
The Scargiver.
No, but just the thing. I can't even. Rebel Moon, thank you. I just couldn't think of it in the moment.
Rebel Moon.
Somebody a week ago was like, Cap, surely they're not going to throw any more money at him after this, and that's the last thing he gets. And then just a day or two ago, there was an announcement that he is doing another project called, I think, Twilight of the Gods. And I have theories about this. I think Twilight, first of all, it will be 12 hours.
Does he just like do like a bingo. I think he has like a bingo wheel, and he just throws in all the most popular words from like the movies in the last 10 years, and he just Twilight gods.
Well,
Just
and you're
shoves
going to
them
be able
together.
to play, yeah, and
Rebel and Moon.
and you're going to be able to play like genre bingo with him too, because it's like, well, he had to get out his own original zombie thing. Never mind that he starts with a remake of a popular zombie movie. He's got to do his own one of those. He's got to do his own Star Wars. Now I'm pretty sure he's doing his own Justice League.
Yeah.
That's my theory, because I think all we have for this so far is a title. That's all I saw. If there's more information, somebody let me know. Again, I've been working on the movie and stuff, so I've been a little bit unplugged this week. But I did see that there's a YouTube channel I follow that just posted the logo for it, which looks like a logo that DJ could make in about 16 seconds.
What is it called? Angel Wars? What'd you just say?
Twilight of the Gods.
Twilight.
I like Angel Wars though.
Angel Wars.
That would be Zack Snyder making a Spawn ripoff.
Mm-hmm. Except it's in heaven instead of hell.
And you be, well, I mean, they have battles there too. But like you be the judge about whether that is better written or not than a Todd McFarlane comic. Like or a Todd McFarlane screenplay.
Probably better, honestly.
I want to put those two up against each other with screenplays. Like, I hope that McFarlane's Spawn script gets leaked at some point, that we get the whole thing. Partly because I want to shoot it verbatim. I've said this before. And partly because I want to see how it matches up against a Snyder screenplay. The Snyder will probably be better only in that it can't possibly be as boring.
Yeah. I mean, you'll at least have, like...
And don't get me wrong, I think there's really boring stuff in Rebel Moon.
But, like, at least you'll know what people are talking about. You know, like, I feel like I can't make heads or tails of what anyone's talking about in any Todd McFarlane thing.
No, and neither can he. You can tell that on a monthly basis he's turning in an assignment that nobody assigned. DJ seems distracted. What are you looking at, DJ?
I'm distracted by the fact that there's a Spiderwick Chronicles Roku original series right now.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that.
Wow. I was looking up Twilight Gods. It's like an animated show about Norse mythology.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay.
But it starts... But Midgard and Asgard are both destroyed when it starts.
Oh, okay. Well...
So that's...
It could still be a Spawn knockoff, because, he could do... He could do Marvel's Not Angela. He could do Not Marvel's Not Angela.
I just got distracted by IMDb. Chris Hemsworth is way too prominently featured in the Furiosa poster for my liking.
Yeah. I'm glad, yeah, and especially after the Transformers 1 trailer, which, by the way, I saw 10 seconds of and turned it off. I'm not watching that. You can't pay me enough to look at that.
But you're so excited to watch Rebel Moon.
It just looks like a bunch of... Yeah, because it'll be fun to talk about. I don't need more crappy Chris Hemsworth improvisation in a booth that they animate over. Yeah, you can tell that's what that is. 10 seconds, and yeah, I didn't watch any more than that. But just, like, the style of comedy, not my thing. I can tell where all that's going. And if it comes out and people love it, I still don't think I'll watch it. But, yeah, that looks dreadful, what little I looked. I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't look at it. I'm so tired of that. Just write a movie.
No, that's for chumps.
I bet a bunch of that script isn't even written, and it's just throw people in a booth, and then they animate Transformers after them later. Adam March, Transformers Ragnarok. Yeah, that's exactly what it looks like. And you'd think after Love and Thunder... some people even outside of MCU would kind of get their heads on straight and be like, okay, that was a fad for 5 seconds and it's not sustainable and it can't keep going. Like, people are going to get tired of that brand of humor very quickly because it's the least common denominator and there's nothing to it. Like,
and because it's all about subverting. You can't subvert every single time. I got bored of the subversions in Ragnarok. Like, so I couldn't even make it through one film.
That's true. See, I wasn't even thinking about it like that. I was just thinking of it more as you turn on a camera and go, hey, say funny things, and you're not even in a real clever situation in the first place. And people are going to get tired of that real quick because it's going to get dry.
Yeah.
It's like, Because what especially a comedian that doesn't have a lot of background in improvisation, what a lot of people will do is they've got like the 3 or 4 types of jokes that they always go back to, like that's their well. And so once you've seen it, you've seen it. Like, and this isn't about improvisation. I'm jumping around, but this is kind of the thing I've got with like Ryan Reynolds humor. He's got like 3 or 4 joke types, and they might have been funny the first couple times I heard them, but after a while I'm like, oh wait, I feel like I've heard this joke before, even if it's an entirely new joke, just because the point of the punchline is always the same, right? And so when we got and maybe somebody will ask about this later, but when we got the full trailer for Deadpool and Wolverine, immediately, and I thought about making that the lead-in topic tonight, but I didn't have a lot to say about it, and we did the teaser not too long ago, so I didn't want to make that the thing that people try to click on the video for, because it might have been disappointing. I don't think I would have had a lot to say about it, but and then watch me go on about it for 20 minutes. But naturally, that trailer opens with a forgive me in front of my kid, but an erectile dysfunction joke with Wolverine's claws, like because of course that's what it is. Like that's all he's got. Like of course. And I like the Deadpool movies better than, especially the first one, than a lot of the guys that come on the channel that work with me. But it's more for some of the story stuff that I appreciate than for like the actual humor. I've got to have something else to latch onto. It's not all like actually funny to me, and that's my big fear with Deadpool 3 is that I'm just not gonna find any of it funny anymore. Like it's overstayed its welcome, even though we haven't had one for 8 years.
Yeah, but we've had plenty of Ryan Reynolds in those 8 years.
Yeah, but I didn't bother with any of that because I'm already over that humor.
Yeah, it's just gonna be like a 2-hour Mint Mobile commercial.
I guess it's one note, is what I'm saying.
I would agree.
I don't know how we got here. Oh, Zack Snyder. We'll go ahead and move on.
Speaking of one note.
But yeah, I mean, I don't think I ever fully answered that question, but just, what was the quote again? Just read that real quick so I can kind of wrap this up.
Yeah, you may love or hate my movies. I'm 100% fine with that, but a vote against me is a vote for the focus groups. I see what he's saying. Like, he's getting to make the movies he actually wants to make, which I support, but don't confuse that with bad movie. Like, you're gonna ruin it for the people that are you're gonna ruin it for the people that I want to make their own movies, because the studios are gonna trust people because your movies are doing terrible.
No, that's exactly right. And like you're basically copping out and saying you're supposed to like what I'm making because I'm independent.
Yeah.
And no, we will like what you're making if we like what you're making. Like, a vote against him is not necessarily that.
He's not a politician. That's so weird.
Yeah, no, like I'm really glad you said that, because it's like, it's not you vote with your wallet, you vote with your click, yes, but to choose not to watch it is not necessarily boycotting, or to stop watching it because you don't like it. It's not boycotting necessarily. It's this is dull, or it's stupid, or I'm not enjoying it. We've got to stop making like everything political in that way. Where like this is all about entertainment in the first place. If you're not entertained, you're not going to keep watching. It's that simple. Now, yes, if I think the asterisks I would put on that, the thunderbolts I would put on that, is it is a vote for that if you come out and explain that that's why you're not doing it, right? Where like if you I don't know. I think it requires more explanation. You know what I mean? You have to go to each individual person and be like, why are you looking at that? Because it sucked. I don't know. Or I guess I should say, somebody could maybe look at Snyder and go, well, this isn't that great, but I have to support it in order to support independent filmmakers. And I'm like, yeah, no, you don't though, because think about what else you're supporting. Like, you're lowering the bar for storytelling when you do that, and I think that's exactly what like Snyder Bros or whatever we want to call them were doing with the DCEU, where like they were ignoring really poorly told stories for the sake of getting those characters on screen together and getting to see what they saw as like cool, violent, entertainment. It was about the style. It wasn't about the substance.
It's really sad.
What is that a vote for? If we're gonna play that
to
game,
me, what happened to his career? Because like, I kind of wish he had just stopped at Man of Steel, and then I feel like he would be much better remembered. Even though as polarizing as that movie is, of course, it's gone down and down like ever since then. I kind of wish he had just quit while he was almost ahead. I don't know.
Once again, I mean, and I've been on this for too long, and I think I'm partly doing that because I felt bad at the beginning of this, kind of dismissing it, but like I've said the same thing with this over and over again, and people keep bringing up quotes he's making, and like I don't have a lot left to say. The big thing I always go back to is if Snyder's got to make movies, somebody else needs to write them, and he needs to just adapt from things that are there already. He cannot be in charge of telling a story or creating characters because he doesn't know what he's doing. It's not about character-driven storytelling. Anyway, let's do one more, and then Jason and I are going to do something totally different.
All right, we've got a super chat from Bag Studios, $4.99.
Oh, thanks, Bag.
What would your pitch be for a Kelvinverse TNG film? Something all new or a prequel like Stargazer movie, or would you hope to adapt / improve episodes?
Yeah, Bag's been going through TNG, and occasionally will send me a message about an episode he's watching. So that's a cool question. Jason, I've talked for a long time about Snyder. What's the first thing that comes to your mind with that? Like, what would you do with a full-on TNG? Because when the Kelvinverse, when we got to like by the point when we got to Darkness, and it looked like that was going to be the only thing we would get for a long time, I was like, well, if you ever have to do TNG in this version of the world, could we please get McAvoy for Picard?
Yeah.
That would be wonderful.
Yeah.
If he got to also play them both,
yeah,
be great.
That would be really cool. Yeah.
Have you seen the trailer for McAvoy's new movie?
No.
It looks horrifying. It's like a horror film.
He's good at horror.
He's horror, yeah.
I mean, he's scary in Split. Like, he does some legit scary stuff in that. That's not a scary movie, but his performance is nuts.
Yeah. I think it's like an A24 film, but I saw it just played on YouTube one time, and I was like, whoa, good grief.
All I'm saying is I would watch more McAvoy horror stuff. That actually sounds kind of great.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, a prequel thing like a Stargazer movie would be good for Kelvin. Like, just be good for that timeline. I don't know if that would be a good movie.
If you have to do that, or if that's what you do, it needs to be about Picard and nearly nobody else you've ever heard of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you were going to do that. What you wouldn't want is a repeat of 09 where we get a bunch of cadets all together that are the cast of the original series and they're running the ship by the end of the movie. Can we please not do that? Can we not have the Stargazer have to be made up of Worf and Troy and Riker, etc., etc.?
Or, Robert Wild, do some sort of Borg thing and make that your big Kelvin TNG movie.
That's exactly what I was going to say. He and I are on the same wavelength. I would use it as an opportunity to totally go your own way, which Abrams did a little bit with certain things, like we kill Pike in the second movie, but it's different than it happened originally. But like we never lose a major character. I don't think that you had in the original timeline. I would do something nuts. Like starting out, I would make it like a what if thing, and it goes the other direction. So I would do Best of Both Worlds, and I would introduce Shelby as a major character, and I would kill Picard off in the movie. And when you move on, Riker's got the Enterprise. Like I would do something crazy like that.
Yeah. No, I think that's
Part of that's
the way to
because
go.
I've always been really curious as to what the future of Star Trek would have looked like if that's the way they went with Best of Both Worlds.
Yeah.
Because there was talk about it. Like, the rumor was Patrick Stewart was not sure if he wanted to come back and was trying to decide if he was going to renew his contract. And there wasn't a lot of interest in the show, and it was maybe on the verge of cancellation before Best of Both Worlds. And then that was insanely popular, and the ratings for the reruns of the show over the summer were doing better than the original run of episodes. And so, of course, everybody came back, and that's why the second part turned the way it did. But you know, there was a chance, I think, that he could have been killed off. And what if you did? Because you've got an opportunity if you're gonna flat out reboot like that, but out of original continuity to go a different direction with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that is the way to go. Yeah.
You could do. Oh, so we're kind of talking about like an alternate timeline of our own too, because obviously, that they probably wouldn't make that now. Like, I guess it could maybe happen if they thought, well, we for whatever reason, we want to come back and do more Kelvin timeline things, but we can't get that cast. I really don't see that ever happening. But if you had done a TNG movie while Nimoy was still alive, it might have been interesting to have Prime Spock go back to Romulus during that period and try to make unification happen, or reunification happen the way he does in Unification. Mm-hmm. And you could retell Unification, but you could do it with Prime Spock. Mm-hmm. Now, that wouldn't be a TNG thing. That would have to be in the 23rd century.
Yeah.
Or you could have Quinto come back as another Admiral Spock in your TNG thing. Mm. Like, there's a lot of possibilities.
Yeah.
That's a thing I guess I could talk about all day. Anyway. Jason, you want to do our thing real quick?
Sure.
Okay, Jason and I are working on a project. We have mentioned this a couple of times. We're putting together a They Might Be Giants cover band, and we're going to do a full-on concert at some point. We're not quite ready for that yet, but we've been practicing a ton, and we actually haven't practiced this week, so hopefully this works out okay. But we thought we would give you guys a preview of that, so we're going to play a song or two. Mm-hmm. And so give us just a minute to get our stuff together, and let's do that.
Okay.
This part's riveting.
Well, we still got 3 super chats to get to, guys, so hold on to your butts.
I thought he was going to say viewers.
We do have 3. We probably have more than 3, actually.
We have 3 viewers, folks. Okay, hopefully this doesn't bust out the gain on the mic here. DJ, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you sound very, very swole. Those gains are working out for you.
Good. Okay, so yeah, we're going to play a couple of TMBG songs for you. See what I'm saying about dead air, DJ? Like, I just can't even stand it. I start panicking. I'm like, somebody needs to say something.
Well, let me read the super chat because it's not a question.
Absolutely.
It's from Connor Nielsen, $4.99.
Hi, Connor.
Happy birthday, Jason. Netflix dropped a new Zack Snyder movie in your honor.
Are we going to watch that? Or are we going to watch Twilight of the Gods? I wonder what the animation will look like.
It'll probably be really cheap looking. It'll look like X-Men Season 5.
Okay, well, everybody, thanks for indulging us with this. Hopefully you enjoy it. This is... So everything we're playing is, like I said, Team BG stuff. It's our favorite band. We've wanted to do a Team BG cover band for years, but we didn't really play it much. And Jason has been learning the ukulele, and he's gotten really proficient at it. And we gave him this one for his birthday, so he's got a much nicer instrument now. And I am playing a box with strings in it called a cajon. So it's a acoustic drum that you sit on. That's cool. It's got it's got snare strings in it. Okay, you ready?
Yep.
All right, here we go. Just want to make sure we were playing the same song. Are you good?
Yeah.
They tried the handcuffs, but they won't lock. Electrical courses, but they won't shock. You pulled the fire alarm. You tried punching a cop. You're just too tired to stop. Old pine box. You old pine box. With your head full of rocks. Sharp like a cracked flower pot.
You old paper hat.
On your skull full of bats, there's no percentage in that. They called relations, but they declined. They called the fan club, but they'd resign. Left your car in a field and some questions behind. Your mom thinks you're out of your mind.
Over the falls and into the drink. The barrel breaks and we slowly sink.
They tried the handcuffs, but they won't lock. Electrical courses, but they won't shock. You pulled the fire alarm. You tried punching a cop. You're just too tired to stop. Old pine box. Thanks, DJ. Thanks for that very loud applause. Okay, we're going to do one more song, and then we'll get back to some questions. Jason, what album is that off of?
That's off of Join Us.
That's from an album I don't like called Join Us, but it's a song I like off of Join Us. I'm not a big modern TMBG fan. I'm sorry to say at this point. It's been so many years since I've loved a TMBG album, but there's always that couple 3 tracks.
I like all of Glean, and I like 2 tracks from Y and 2 tracks from Phone Power, and I like 80% of I Like Fun. The problem is those last 3 tracks.
Oh, see, you like more of I Like Fun than I do.
Or like those last 4
But we
tracks.
are playing a song from I Like Fun in our set list. Not tonight, but... So we've got a set list put together of 16 songs right now.
Like 15.
And we'll try to do a full live concert in the next few weeks if we can.
That's why
get
our
it all
set
together.
list is better.
Most
set
people
list-
do a set list with only
9 or 10 songs on it.
And that makes us angry. We're being indulgent. That's from a promo that the Giants did for Flood all those years ago.
So
DJ, how many super chats do we have right now?
We have 4.
Oh, cool. Okay, so we're not in trouble yet. Have we done any Patreon?
Negative.
Okay, we'll try to get at least 1 or 2 of those done after we tackle this song. Okay, here we go. This is a song from... Yeah, I'm saying this like it's our records. From the TMBG Record Factory showroom.
yeah, which is also not the best record.
No, but it's got some great songs.
It's got really good songs.
And this is one of my favorites. And this song gets kind of loud, so I'm going to turn my gain down slightly. Okay, here we go. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. There were 87 apple in the bottle, now there's 30 left. I ate 47, so what happened to the other 10? Why do you suspiciously change the subject and break my concentration as I dump the bottle out and I count the apple up again? Don't interrupt me as I someone more forgetful than yourself, and I'm not done, and I won't be till my head falls off. Hitting every pocket on my shirt, dancing overcoat. Hitting them again, and I don't know where I put my notes. Clear my throat and gripping the left, and I smile and face my audience. Clearing his throat and smile with his hands on the bathroom sink. And when I lean my head against the frosted shower stall, I see stuff through the glass that I don't recognize at all. And I'm not done, and I won't be till my head falls off, though it may not be a long way off. I'm not done talking yet. I'm not done talking yet. And when I lean my head against the frosted shower stall, I see a broken Snyder silhouetted on the wall. And I'm not done, and I won't be till my head falls off, though it may not be a long way off. I won't be done until my head falls off.
Woo, 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 woo. Let's take it on the road. Let's do some caroling, door to door.
Let's do some caroling. Let's do some caroling in April.
I'll bring the sound, just the sound equipment. I'll hold the boom mic.
I thought about just sitting on the cajon for the rest of the show. But that would not be comfortable on my back. Okay. Well, once again, thanks for indulging us with that, guys. Till My Head Falls Off should just be the theme song for this show. I'm not done talking yet.
That's how we should play it off.
Exactly. Okay.
Sorry, I was listening to a very sad story from Austin about tomato soup.
Oh.
Mutale.
You wanna read it?
Nah, it's okay. It kind of dips in the middle. He was kind of losing me. Mutale. If Abrams did TNG, who would he have cast as Picard? You kind of already answered this. Or who would he have cast? Not who you would want him to cast. Who would he have cast?
Yeah. Honestly, I want to think they would have gone after McAvoy. I don't think I would have been the only person that had that idea. I can't think of anybody better. And of course, you need somebody British. So.
Yeah.
And weirdly, McAvoy's natural hair is kind of similar to the kid that plays Picard in the past in Tapestry. Like he is even the right casting visually for it.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. And he would be good for that universe. Like, he kind of fits with... I think he fits with, like, in like, the same, like, genre
I think
as
he's
Kirk.
too good for that universe, but... for that particular version of it. Anyway, let's get off Star Trek. I think TMBG cover songs and then Star Trek is going to be the death of us on this stream. Go ahead, DJ.
All right, yeah, let's get away from Star Trek. TH won $5. MCU realms is equal to Star Trek quadrant. Asgard is both planet and area around, like New York City and New York. State you are paper made out of rock.
Okay, so I don't... It kind of went off the rails and turned into word salad by the end. But as much of a run-on as that was, the part I understood, I agree with. So, when he says... He's kind of onto something with this. So let me translate for folks that didn't understand that and
yes, could you insert
don't
punctuation?
know what he's talking about with Star Trek. So before 24th century Star Trek, this becomes real clear by, I want to say even first season TNG, but especially by second or third, we've got this real clear sense that the Milky Way galaxy is broken up into 4 clear quadrants: Alpha, Beta, Delta, and Gamma. And I guess I should have said Gamma and Delta. I think the dogs are barking because Brandon is here for After Dark. Anyway, and
with Star Trek.
Prior to that, we would throw around the word quadrant anytime we wanted some term to mean just a local area of space, and you never knew what it was a quadrant of. And we have that problem with realms with the MCU, where at first it's, well, there's so many of them, it feels like dimensions because you're using the Rainbow Bridge to go to what it feels like is kind of different realities, but then it becomes clear that we're just going to different planets once we get to Guardians especially. And so that's what he's talking about, is this kind of interchangeable terminology where when we say realms, and I think the idea with Asgard retroactively is supposed to be they put it in those terms. Would you go grab the door? They put it, Asgard's putting it in those terms because that's kind of how they understand it, but it's actually different planets. The problem is their technology is so advanced, I just don't buy that. And also, why are there only 9 of them? There's lots of planets. It doesn't make a lot of sense.
At the time, it made sense. Now we've completely changed the universe.
But I had that problem in the Thor movie where I was like, oh, they're gonna have issues with this later on. Immediately, I was like, they don't know the difference between realms and planets, and they didn't, and it became a big issue later. But they have the same problem with, like he said earlier, with timelines and dimensions, where they use the word dimension interchangeably to mean 3 different things too.
Yeah, it was very weird because they're not just planets, because some of them are planets, but I don't know. It doesn't make any sense because it seems like Jotunheim is just a planet, but none of the 9 planets are our planets because we have 9 planets of our own.
Right.
If you don't count Pluto.
Yeah, and you never see Asgard from outside the planet if it's a planet. Is Asgard a planet? It doesn't seem to be. Or at least I don't think they ever show that.
Yeah, we never get there. No, I guess we don't get there except for by the bridge and by time travel.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, Doctor Strange has exactly the same problem with dimensions, where it says that the Ancient One can go between dimensions, and they've got kind of pocket dimensions. But then once we get to the multiverse idea, it seems like those are completely separate from that, and that's further complicated by the fact that the very next movie called Doctor Strange is about a different kind of dimensions than the ones we talked about before. It's very complicated. They don't know what they're doing.
Mutale, super chat. Thoughts on Keanu Reeves as Shadow the Hedgehog?
Yeah, the only thing I'm going to say about that is, well, I'm glad they did something right. Because I don't like those movies, but that's correct casting. That's the right way to go. They cast Robotnik right. They cast Shadow right. I don't even mind what they did with Knuckles voice wise. I don't want to watch that show. I really don't. I am kicking around at some point doing a super chat goal for a blind commentary for Knuckles, but I can't get anybody to do it with me. Austin won't watch it, Jason won't watch it. The only way I would watch that is talking over it, and if I do it, I'm gonna be a lone wolf. I'm not gonna be able to get anybody else to do it. I could probably get John to do it. I wonder if I could get John to do it.
That guy will do anything.
John, if you're here, this is a lot of ifs, but if John says he'll do it, and if we hit a super chat goal for a Captain Logan show in a couple weeks, then I'll do it. But that's what it would take, because that looks terrible. Anyway, yeah, I mean, like I said, they did something right. That's cool. I'm not excited about that, because I don't love Shadow as a character in the first place, and they've already done their bit kind of with the 16-bit games, and they didn't do enough with that, and 2 is better than the first movie. That's not saying a lot. And now apparently the third movie is going to be all based on Sonic Adventure, and I don't have the nostalgia for that and the love for that I do the Genesis games. So
Is he going to be rolling around at the speed of sound?
I'm sure. See, my worry is they're gonna do all the music, the big tracks from that game, and it will tick me off because they did almost no Genesis music whatsoever, and that's some of the best video game music of all time. So like, it's just wrong. Like, I'm not saying don't do that music, but I'm gonna be upset to hear it now because I didn't get the good Genesis stuff like in the soundtrack. All you had to do was what they did with Mario right after that. I just wish the Mario movie had come first.
Yeah, if it had come out first, they definitely would have done a fully animated Sonic movie.
Yeah, I just wish that had happened first. Anyway,
Well,
what was going on with the dogs?
I opened the door and then they just kept barking.
Why'd you do that? How dare you? It just sounded like an apocalypse.
Mm.
Okay.
Did you also slam them in the door?
Well, no, obviously, Brandon. But I'm just, but I was just wondering why they kept going for as long as they did. Anyway, what else have we got, DJ?
The Man of Movies. The Man of Movies, $5 super chat.
The Man of Movie. That is not a name I recognize. Is that a new name?
I don't recognize it either. I've never read a super chat from it.
Now, this is probably going to be one of those things where it's somebody we know, but they just changed their name.
Maybe so. He has a profile picture of Clark in Smallville from the first Superman movie, so...
Well, I don't know.
Could be anybody.
I feel like it qualifies, DJ.
Oh.
I wanna take you for a ride. 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 I wanna take you for a ride.
DJ did not commit to the full chair spin. Did you see that? It looked like he was starting to go around, and then he stopped like midway through.
Well, I have my headphones hooked up, so I always get tangled up if I try to do that move.
That was smart. That you realized it mid-spin. Anyway, what would you like us to talk about?
The Man of Movies. I guess we can't assume gender on that one. How'd you feel about Lockdown?
About lockdown, like having to go through lockdown?
Based on the BTAS version in Matt Reeves' universe.
Lock up? I
Is
think
it
he's
opposite
talking
day?
about a character called Lockup. But he said lockdown, so I thought he wanted us to go back in time in our minds and talk about COVID again.
Just give your perspective
No,
on
but
it.
I thought he was the Man of Movies. He should know all this.
Well, that's
this
not
is
a
a
movie,
show.
that's a cartoon show.
Okay, well then.
He's not the man of cartoon shows.
Not the Man of Animated Series. Although that would be a good title to have. He says, honestly, I think he'd be a good foil to Battinson as he developed.
Maybe as a minor, is a minor villain, like, in the asylum and or at Blackgate or something, and maybe like moonlighting as a minor villain. But I wouldn't want him to be a villain for a whole movie. I always thought that character was a little bit generic. Like he's just kind of a crazed prison guard, if memory serves, because it's been a long time. I think he's got that one episode, and I don't know if that's based on a character in the comics or if they made him up for that. I think he's original for that series. That's New Batman Adventures. And I think he's just got like an electric baton thing, and he's just like a crazed, security guard. John does not want to watch Knuckles. He's like, I have to watch Knuckles? Yes, John, you do. You have to watch Knuckles. You have to watch Knuckles if people give me enough money for us to watch Knuckles. I'm not going to be able to get him to do it either. I can already tell. And honestly, I don't know if I should do that to him. Like
You still need him for the last 5 seasons.
Yeah, because we've got a baby in the house. I haven't been able to commit that much time through the day to doing commentary streams, so we haven't gotten back to Smallville since last year, and we're already almost into the 5th month of the year, which is crazy. But yeah, I would feel kind of bad if the first thing he came back for was Knuckles, which might be the reason to do it because it's funny. But anyway, okay. Do we have any other super chats besides the one that just came in?
We do, sir. We have 2.
Okay, let's get those knocked out.
Both from Mr. Mutale. Why do you think critics were more positive on the Suicide Squad, giving it a 91% on Rotten Tomatoes, but Guardians Volume 3 gets an 82%? Also, thoughts on Supergirl director? It really is good he's keeping up with all the news.
Yeah, it is. The Supergirl director, I don't even remember now who that is. I would have to go back and look. I think Austin and I talked about that at one point off camera, and I didn't discuss it when it came up. So I may have to look that up and table it for later. But as far as I can't explain why critics on Rotten Tomatoes think anything they think. That whole landscape has gotten really topsy turvy in my brain. It's just individual. I mean, we've talked about this a million times, but it's just individual critics with their own motivations, whether it's their own real feelings or what they think they need to say for the sake of their jobs and their image and whatever. Excluding conspiracy theories about people being paid off and that kind of thing. So you'd have to, because I'm with you. Like one of these movies seems as good as the other, if not better. And you'd think that Guardians 3 would be even as much more of a downer and not as much of a crowd pleaser as it was to the other two Guardians movies. You'd think that it would have seemed more like a crowd pleaser than the Suicide Squad, which is a real off the beaten path kind of movie that is not going to appeal to everybody, and doesn't need to. So I don't know. I mean, you'd have to look at like how many critics were in that pool in the first place, and like what the individual reviews look like and all of that.
Honestly,
so, yeah,
I thought
those numbers don't bear out, but it doesn't really mean anything.
Honestly, I thought the Suicide Squad was more entertaining than Guardians 3, but that's just me. I've only watched them both once. So.
Well, and now that you say that, because it's hard for me not to cop out and just immediately go to. I mean, who knows why critics say what they say on Rotten Tomatoes. But now that you say that, I mean, think about what you're comparing these things to, and everything is relative, right? So with the Suicide Squad, you're comparing it to a movie that did not work for most people, and was kind of a mess, right? And the Suicide Squad is at the very least a competent film.
Yeah.
With a story you can follow. And the and Guardians 3 was, compared to the first two, a lot more of a downer, a lot more violent, a lot more disturbing.
Yeah.
And so that may have something to do with it too.
Yeah. It was definitely a good movie. It just was not as fun to watch because of that.
Yeah, and not as fun in comparison to the other two movies.
Right. And I also haven't seen not the Suicide Squad.
Like at its darkest, the Suicide Squad still feels like a dark comedy, and at its darkest, Guardians 3, you forget it was ever a comedy.
Mm.
I'm glad you said that. Mm. All right, DJ, let's finish these up, man.
All right, last one. Cap and Jason, if you could interview Alexander the Great, what would you ask him? Also, are you going to do how we felt about on Civil War?
No, I wasn't planning on doing that. That movie doesn't really appeal to me. I mean, like, I might look at it after it's out of the theater, just out of morbid curiosity. But I keep hearing from people, and obviously you got to judge the movie on its own when you actually bother to watch it. But what I keep hearing, if this is factually true, is that movie doesn't really set up like why the factions of the country go to war with each other. And if you're not gonna get into the nuances of the politics, how is that interesting? Like, if it's just a like kind of big dumb action movie, and in like popcorn blockbuster with that premise, in the world we live in today, like as divided as we are politically and culturally, that seems like a mistake. I like.
Yeah, what's even the point of
What is the
making it?
point of that? Like,
Yeah.
like I don't want to see a movie with that premise that's not thoughtful and interesting about it. And I'm not saying that it can't be entertaining and you can't have an action bent to it, but at least give me a premise that makes sense. Austin told me that. And not to get into the politics myself, but he said that, I mean, the movie doesn't, apparently, but Austin said that like apparently it's everybody versus the combined forces of Texas and California.
Yeah, that's in the trailer.
How the hell does that make any sense? And like I'm open to
Yeah, I brought
an
it up on the show a couple weeks
explanation,
ago.
but if there isn't one, DJ, I can't get excited to rush out and see that.
Yeah, all the reviews I've heard said it's not about that. It's about journalism. So that stuff's maybe not important, but I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, if it's actually about something, then I could maybe see that, where it's just a conceit and you don't really end up caring about like how it starts and what the conceit is. But
Yeah, I don't know. I don't
that's
know
an
if we
idea
see that
I
one or
would
not.
like to see done well, maybe. You know, as sensationalist and maybe kind of cynical as that sort of looks, like that's sort of an obvious thing to do right now. You know, that's today's 2012. Like of course, in the year 2012, we put out a movie where the world is ending. So now it's like, people keep talking about the idea of states seceding from the union, and maybe the country's going to fall apart, and we're not going to have America as we see it now in 20 years, and whatever. So of course somebody's making a movie about what would, like, it's like Left Behind, like, oh, the rapture, you know. So you got to have the Civil War version of that. The thing that first put me off to that movie, DJ. It's not even creative in its title. We've had a Civil War. That movie should be called like The Next Civil War or Civil War 2, or like you have to give it something, right? Like,
Oh, is that movie?
yeah, imagine if you made a movie about World War III and you called it World War. Like, well, we've already had 2 of those. Why is it called World War? The Civil War is a weird title. We've had one of those.
Well, that's a little different though, because there's only 2 world wars. There's been a million civil wars. We've just only had one.
Yeah, but in this country, we've already had one.
Yeah, but it's not specifically the American Civil War.
And also we had
But it is just kind of a generic.
And also we had a
title.
really popular MCU movie not that long ago, also called Civil War. And as soon as that title happened, people were making fun of it for that. And I was like, it's got to be called something else.
Yeah. I haven't seen it. I don't know if it has like a double meaning or something, but it is kind of a generic title.
Yeah, I'm saying all of this having not looked at it. Maybe it's great.
Yeah, I've never seen any of that guy's movies.
Who is that guy?
He directed Men a couple years ago, and he directed
Oh, I think I heard you talk about them.
that. I haven't seen that, but Alien is like
Okay, it was somebody else that was not you then.
some alien movie or Ex Machina, I think was him.
Oh, was
Robot
that okay?
thing.
People loved that. I thought it was just okay. It did not do a lot for me. Adam and I saw Ex Machina finally during COVID.
Oh, cool.
He and I were getting together remotely off camera and watching catching up on movies, and we watched that together. Sort of together, like over Skype, and it was okay. I wasn't sure what the fuss was about.
Yeah, that was his first movie. Then he did Annihilation, and then he did
Annihilation is
and then he
killer.
did Civil War.
Okay, Annihilation is a better script than Ex Machina. Well, no, Annihilation came first.
No, it's 2018. Ex Machina is 2014.
Really?
Yeah.
You just blew my mind with that. Okay.
Well, you should see me read the rest of the IMDb page.
I'm gonna find out who the Supergirl director is because. And see
Oh,
if
I
it's
got it. I got
anybody I
it.
know. Oh, thank you, appreciate it.
Way ahead of you. Craig Gillespie.
Everybody's catching me up here. What,
who I
what-
really liked. He did
Yeah.
I, Tonya, which is a really good movie, and he also did the first 3 episodes of Pam and Tommy, which is a very similar feel to I, Tonya. But that doesn't really
maybe
tell
we
me
talked about this
anything
on
about
the
what he would
channel
do as a
already.
superhero.
I can't remember. Somebody brought up I, Tonya not too long ago, and so maybe I knew that's who that was. Anyway, I need to watch that movie. People keep saying good things about that.
Yeah, Tanya's really good, and he did Pam and Tommy, which is a miniseries for Hulu, which feels like it could be in the same universe as I, Tonya. It feels very similar.
Interesting. Okay, well, we need to wrap the show up so that DJ can go to bed. I try not to keep him too late on a Thursday.
Well, we completed the super chats, so high five, sir.
Yeah, over the internets. DJ, can you throw us a Patreon question to conclude the show, and then we'll try to lead with those next time so we get more of those out.
I will do just that.
Apologies to the patrons. I didn't expect all the super chats tonight, and thank you guys for the support. Really appreciate you.
Oh, and that James McAvoy movie I was talking about is called Speak No Evil. It's coming out in September. It is a psychological thriller horror film coming out this year. So you can
Cool.
watch your boy in that.
Split was also ostensibly one of those.
Michael Austin Gullick, with it being the
Yeah.
30th anniversary of the original Crow movie and the reboot coming out later this year, do you have any plans to watch or cover the entries in the franchise that you haven't yet seen?
I'm not sure if we'll do either of the other two. I haven't watched yet. Austin just saw the original Crow for the first time recently. He and I are working on our lists for folks that haven't heard about this yet, because we have announced it, but on videos you maybe haven't seen or streams you maybe haven't seen. Austin and I are putting together our lists for our favorite 100 superhero movies of all time, and that's going to be the next long multi-part series we're doing, like the superhero movie history streams. And he is watching some movies that he had never gotten around to for that. So he watched The Crow recently because of that. So I think if we do one this year, it being the 30th anniversary, it will probably be the original. And then I did the second one maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago now, back when I was doing the unscripted version with notes before we got to this new commentary series we're doing. So I've just got 2 more of those to look at eventually, and I don't know if we'll go in order because we jump all over the place with these things, but I would like to do The Crow this year for the anniversary. I would like to be able to get away with not watching the remake, though. That is the first superhero movie in a really long time where I'm like, I don't even care that this is what I do. This is the one I'll skip. Like, I really don't want to do it.
Really?
And I've talked about that a little bit.
So you heard it here, folks. It's worse than Madam Web.
Well, I don't know.
You gotta make the monkey review it.
It looks harder to look at than that, like in different, or maybe not even harder to look at, but just, I don't know, like dull and nothing and boring. Like what it. And you know, always the caveat of I'm basing this on a trailer, but what it looks like is the Flatlanders remake or the Poltergeist remake. Like, I don't want to watch another one of those, and I bet you money that's what that feels like. I just don't want to do it. Forgetting that I've never wanted that to be remade, and that it sucks that they're not, you know, like, I don't need the nostalgia bait and all of that, but The Crow has always had some iteration of the like white face paint and the like, you know, the tears and the you know, sad painted on face, you know, kind of the sad clown face. It just, what it looks like is kind of ugly and like not memorable. And everybody's comparing it to Jared Leto Joker, where it's got all the tattoos, and it's like, why are we doing it like that? It feels outdated before we even get there. Like a DCEU movie. And also, it's one of those things that was in development hell for so long that has to be a massively compromised mess. Like, it's a miracle it ever got made, and nobody asked for it.
But Danny Houston's in it. You got to support your striker bros.
No, I don't. No. I do not. And by the way, nobody before now has ever said that on the channel. That's not a thing. Don't let DJ turn Striker Bros into a thing, okay?
It has to be. There's so many of them at this point.
Don't make it a thing.
It's like a club.
Dan's Den, the Highlander remake will probably be the same way. Another tragic franchise. Yeah. That more than The Crow, I think, is something you could come back and do something cool with. Like, if you had ideas. But...
Who needs those?
And you could do another Crow too, but I don't want it to be like a remake of the original. It needs to be like a totally different thing with a new character. Because that's an idea, sort of like the Phantom. That there's no reason you couldn't come back every 2-3 decades and do a modern version of it with a completely new character. It's not a retelling; it's that premise, but now. When the idea is, like, every so often a Crow brings someone back from the dead to get revenge on the person that wrongly killed them. Like, you can tell lots and lots of stories like it. It's just like The Mask, right? Like, there's no reason you couldn't do a Mask movie in every decade with different characters.
Yeah.
Okay, we should finish up here. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody.
Great show tonight, guys. Great show tonight.
yeah. It's the dead air edition of the Captain Logan show. Really, it's been 2 weeks. I don't even remember how to do this show anymore. No, for a split second, I was like waiting for another question, and then I was like, oh, that's right. No, we're ending the show. I'm getting to this place where I've been having to go to bed earlier lately, and like 10:30 feels like 2:30 to me right now. We're gonna get going. We're going to go do After Dark, and I'm sure I'll be even more incomprehensible on that. If you are a patron, come and watch the show. If you are not, feel free to become one, and we'll just move on.
If you want more of this.
Yeah, and it might just be Brandon and Austin tonight, honestly. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching, folks. We'll see you again real soon. I was Captain Logan. This
Jason.
was Jason and DJ Martinez. Goodbye, folks. We appreciate you. Worst show ever? Kind of close to maybe the worst show ever. Anyway, bye, everybody.